The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development, with a platform and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co. Mas Sajady. So Mas is an ordinary computer programmer who was gifted with extraordinary abilities after 2 near-death experiences. Mas is an energy healing pioneer who shows people how to access their exponential intelligence to optimize their health, happiness, and success. He assists in shifting individuals' personal vibrations by removing their energetic blocks, creating fast and tangible results in all areas of life. Mas has helped countless individuals wake up to their own healing power and ability to effortlessly materialize abundance in all areas of life, which he believes is both our birthright and natural state of being. So, I was interviewed by Mas for his podcast, Exponential Intelligence, and I was, delighted when Mas, requested to speak at the expo. And yes, there'll be a couple of his talks that we will be sharing in the coming weeks and months. But I'm absolutely 100% sure you're going to enjoy this very enlightening and interesting interview that I had with Mas. Thank you so much. Enjoy. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I'm delighted today to have the opportunity to speak to Mas, who's going to be speaking at the Best You Expo. And I normally like everyone to introduce themselves. I just got a very quick line here that our guest today, Mas, has been through not 1 but 2 near-death experiences, a construction accident in his 20s and a rafting accident in his 40s. These experiences awakened in Mas an ability to read people's spiritual DNA and activate their innate ability to heal through their calls to exponential intelligence. So I am, as I said, excited and delighted to speak to Mas. We did have the opportunity to speak a few weeks ago when he invited me as his guest to his podcast. So Mas, please tell me in your words, who are you, where are you from, and then we'll get into kind of where you are and how you are on this amazing journey.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Well, my name is Mas Sajady, and I, again, as you mentioned, that I've had 2 near-death experiences. The first one really was a warehouse accident and that really allowed me to help understand who we are at a deeper level. Because nowadays, we always have a self-image. I'm a teacher. I'm a doctor. A politician, whatever it is, but we really don't know who we are. That first near-death experience, which I crushed my jaws in a warehouse accident, had me separate my identity from our human form, which is only, say, 1% of who we are, into that grander form, which is about 99% of who we are. So I started seeing life from the 99%, the grander perspective of us. And by the way, we all have this. We all have these innate abilities, and that's what I do, is I help people bring out what some people call your superhuman abilities to have a fantastic life, abundance in all aspects of life. I talk about the 360 degrees of abundance, where you can have abundance in, physical form, your health, your wealth, relationships, that higher connection to your higher self, or to however you define God. The second near death allowed me to see the mechanics. So I look at as a near death, not something woo-woo or something that is, religious or spiritual or anything like that. I look at it more as bordering quantum physics and beyond. So what the quantum physicists are talking about or studying about, that's the realm that I delve into pretty much every day as I help people, across the world. So what that means is that I see your life structure or the patterns of your life from a scientific perspective. I go beyond, say, the emotional impact that people have had, beyond the abuse patterns that people have had, beyond, how we grew up, our culture, our identity as a woman or a man or whatever that is. I go beyond that and go into your higher sense of self, and help you awaken your higher sense of self. And then from there, I help you start to awaken your higher sense, and then you start to heal yourself, and you get to see the grandness of who you are, just like I did.
Now, what does exponential intelligence mean? What does it mean?
Exponential intelligence is, by the way, it's the name of my podcast. But exponential intelligence is the body of knowledge that I tap into. Just like you would have a handbook on, say, algebra or geometry or whatever, right? There's a handbook of physics. So exponential intelligence is really a handbook on how to operate life in human form in this reality. So it's the body of knowledge that I tap into to help you, create a fantastic life. And it's based on, again, just straight out hard facts. It's not about emotions or anything like that. It's just straight out, you do X, Y happens to you. Again, it's just straight out physics. And that's the way I treat life experiences, and that's why people get fantastic results from what I do.
Now,
exponential
sorry, go ahead.
Exponential intelligence is a body of knowledge. Like I said earlier, I didn't develop it. I didn't create it. It's a timeless body of knowledge that's been here since the beginning of time and beyond, that really create, say, the reality that we see here. So it's the principles of how space-time works in this reality, if you want to get, say, scientific about it. I don't know how scientific you want to get on this, but I'm all open to that.
No, it's fine. Now, you were talking along the lines of intuition, and I was actually talking to someone the other day, and we were talking about how little we tap into our intuition. I mean, we get what we call, some people call a gut feeling of something that we should do or we shouldn't do, or someone we should be or shouldn't be with. We don't really scratch even the surface of what intuition is and how we should use it, do we?
Right. You are absolutely right. You're right. And my abilities are different than intuition. So I'm not a clairvoyant, clairaudio, clairessence. I don't feel anything like that. It's just more of a knowing. Like for you, for example, it's like that deeper knowing that you have. Does that make sense to you? It's just a knowing, that inner knowledge. That's different than intuition. That's different than a gut feeling, although it kind of merges together. So I can get my students to go beyond the intuition, because when you channel something or when you connect to something outside of your space, depending on, say, the type of day you had, it distorts the message that you get. So this goes beyond, say, that level of communication, that beyond the physical communication that we have. This goes into, again, a higher timeless communication opportunity. And then from there, it's just clear. It's just more of a factual, say, intuition that you get. Did that make sense to you? And
yeah, absolutely.
We can break it down if you'd like, but.
Yeah, well, listen, break it down for our listeners, please do.
So most intuition, if you look, and this is why, I always say that never trust your emotions or never trust your intuition until you've calibrated them. Because the way I see life is that life is a program. You've got, tons of different programs that dictate how your life is. For example, there's a program in your DNA structure that says, the curliness of your hair, the thickness of your hair, the color of your hair. There's a DNA molecule or blueprint that says the color of your eyes. It dictates the color of your eyes, or the shape of your body, and so on. And we've gotten that from our are hereditary, our parents. There's also other patterns or programs that dictate how your life runs, like the type of person that you might get involved in, in a intimate relationship, or say the level of wealth that you'll have. All those are patterns dictated within you. Again, just like your hair color, your eye color, that program is running. And that's why when you follow your emotions are just merely tools for that underlying program to become real. Okay? If you're resonating at a certain frequency, like you're resonating with a certain, say, skin color, we're going to see that skin color on you. If you are resonating with, say, patterns of lack or abuse, you're going to resonate, and then you're going to attract patterns of lack and abuse. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's why a lot of people, no matter what they do, no matter how, say, successful motivational books that they use, or schooling or teaching or whatever it is, they might become successful, but then they fail after a little while. It's because these underlying programs that dictate where they are, say, in their success pattern. So with that in mind, once you understand those patterns, your intuition, like I said, and your emotions dictate or are tools used by those patterns to create the life that you see. So, for example, just to give you a clear example, and this is studied over and over again by psychologists, women who run abusive patterns, right? They always connect with abusive relationships, right? No matter what they do, they connect with an abusive person that'll beat them up. In fact, in this one study, there's a group of 50 men, and it was kind of like speed dating. So the woman would interview these 50 men. There was one man that was a known abuser. She got attracted to that one man. Outside of how people looked, outside of their, say, income status and all that, she got attracted to that one man that would abuse her because she would run abuse patterns. So her emotion would go, oh, wow, I'm really falling for this guy. He looks attractive to me and so on like that. But in reality, if you look deeper, it's just that program has to be fulfilled. Hence, she would attract that abusive man out of 50 or out of 1,000, whatever it might be. So that's why I say always know where your emotions are guiding you, know where your intuition is guiding you, and know where it's wrong, know where you're off, and then that way you start to calibrate, and then you're more.
It is said that we live in a world our questions create, and it's true. Those that have succeeded in life, those that stand out, those that have made a difference, those that are inventing, those that are exploring, pushing the boundaries of reality, are based on those that have asked themselves empowering questions. In my new book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose, I help you find your true purpose, find your legacy. For more information, go to www.thequestion.co. If you're interested in working with me, contributing to the magazine, maybe speaking at any of our many events around the world, partnering or licensing The Best You, go to www.thebestyou.co. And how do you teach, how do you help Mas? Because I know you've helped thousands of people and you've, coached and spoken all over the world with what you do, but how do you actually teach someone to do that?
It's more of an awareness, because I really don't teach anybody because it's already built inside you. We have this innate ability, again, what we might call superhuman abilities, but we have this innate ability to heal ourselves, to become abundant. Where we see life today, what most people see as life today, they're always, wanting, there's never enough. They're always in a sense of lack. That's not your default state. That's not how life is supposed to be. Although, say, religion and society thinks that that's where we should be because it'll make us a good person. That's not true at all. Our innate state is actually at a much, much higher level of grandness, completeness, complete abundance. Again, 360 degrees of abundance in all aspects of life. So what I do is that I peel away the layers created over life experiences. And as I help you peel away those layers, your natural innate ability to become intuitive, to become successful, to become happy, start coming in for you. depending on the flavor that, is good, right for you.
So with when you create this awareness, or when you help people become aware, and aware is kind of a really key word. I think a lot of the times, there's so many people that go through life without thinking what they're thinking, and becoming aware of their thoughts. So what happens, I assume, that when you teach these the skills that we have within us, obviously then things start transforming and changing, probably in a pretty dramatic kind of way. Would that be an assumption?
So, right. So how I help people is that I guide them into, say, a deep state of meditation. I call it a meta healing. And the reason why it's a meta healing is that as I guide you into a deep state, and I'll explain that it's very different than a normal meditation, I work on your source code, or some people might call it your spirit level. So it's that blueprint of life that I was talking about. All those programs that dictate how your life is. I access that level as I guide you into the deep state, and then edit them for you. So you say, for example, that you've been abused, and if it's an individual session, let's just take a real example. In an individual session, this woman came to me, and she was always, say, in lack all the time, never satisfied, never complete, never happy with her life. So I go back in time and I go, oh, so when you were 8 or 9, and I can read your files. When you were 8 or 9, you're always trying to please your dad, and you never was able to please your dad. And that's that pattern that's dictating her life. Does that make sense to you? So in that instance, once she starts to realize that that's the pattern, and we've pinpointed, say, the core level issue of why she's having the issues of that she's having current day, knowing that sets her, starts to heal that awareness, or that pattern that she has. So understanding that, she starts to delete the memories, not the experiences, but she starts to delete the emotional impact that event has had for her. And it creates a ripple in time. And then she sees herself from a different point of view in the present moment, which actually, say, changes and shifts her future events or her future opportunities. So the way I do that is very different. And as I said, the meta healing, the meditations that I guide you. And if you want, I could lead the people into a deep state, if you'd like, just to show you that it is very different than, say, meditation, hypnosis, NLP, anything that we try at a physical level, is because I guide you into the present moment. Most meditations help you leave your body and you ascend into, say, a higher place. Right? I force your spirit or your essence to come back into your body, so you're completely aware of your present being or your present moment, which goes beyond, say, being mindful of your thoughts, right? Because your thoughts are actually a filter. There's already a filter in place, right, for your thoughts to come about. Right. So if you're a negative person, well, you'll have negative thoughts. Where does that filter come in? So I go back to the core level of how your thoughts get funneled through. And the way I do that is, again, get you into much, much deeper states than normal meditation or NLP or hypnosis. And it's very similar to nature. If you think of nature, if you go out into the wilderness, untouched by humans, do you know that there's a presence that just overtakes you, right? You can't escape it. I've gone into the jungle. There's that presence, literally the presence that just dominates you. You become so present that you become aware of who you're not. You start to become or separate your identity of, the sense of lack, the sense of, abuse, whatever that you've experienced in life. And you start to think, wow, this is not me. And that's why nature or, taking a walk, in the wilderness, is a refreshing or an expansive experience for people, because it resets you into the present moment, where you start to understand all those things that aren't you, And then as you start to understand that they're not you, it's easier to peel away from them. So it's the same process, but the frequencies that I generate for you is more potent. And it's much more efficient or faster than what, say, a walk in nature would be. Did all of that make sense? It's really and it's very.
No, I was just going to say that I loved the fact of what you said is that you become aware of what you're not, and that's kind of.
Exactly.
I actually felt being there, and absolutely your priorities and everything that you do is very different too, because you're aware of what you're not.
Yeah, this goes beyond mindfulness. Because, if you're mindful, you're still in the same state that your problems are or your life is, right? So what I do is take you to the next level so you can look down upon your problems and you go, oh, that's not me. You can't solve a problem, as Albert Einstein. You can't solve, as Albert Einstein said, you can't solve a problem if you're in the same frequency as the problem. So what I do through the meta healings is raise you to a higher level. And then you can see what's going on with you and what's not you, and then you get to remove it or find solutions to remove it.
Fascinating. I'm so excited about you being at the Expo, Mas, and tell me, because you've obviously worked with a lot of corporations and kind of with your background with what you do, and I know that you haven't shared your story as far as your early years, as a computer programmer. Is that correct? You've obviously, yeah. So tell me some of the work that you do on a corporate level, because obviously understanding, how the corporates might see something, like what you do, but you're working with many Fortune 500 companies. How do you help them? How do you assist them?
Well, there's a lot of individuals or a lot of CEOs or company owners, or even, nowadays, like private citizens that are, I guess, the higher status or, billionaire type groups. They're finding out about me, which is very interesting. So I work with a lot of, like sheikhs and so on like that. And so what I do for them is that, they've become really successful, but then they're not really happy. Their families are still, say, addicted to drugs, or they still have issues, or they, the money is literally killing them, right? It's not, say, as fantastic of a life as most people would deem. For example, in Hollywood, you think the stars would have the perfect life. They're beautiful, they have the money, they have the parties that they go to, and then you find themselves, they're dead, right? They committed suicide. Or it's like the 10th divorce that this person has gone through. It's like,
or they're in rehab again every year. Yeah.
Or they're in rehab again. So it's because, that kind of success, and I call it like normal success, that kind of success just magnifies the distortions that you originally are. So what I do for corporations or CEOs that are waking up going, wow, this isn't serving me well. This isn't the success that I thought it would be. There must be more. There must be beyond. And then that's where they come to me, where I start to help them remove that internal distortions that they are. Because most of success nowadays, or people who want to become successful, they create a facade of who they're not in front of them. So that's what they see. That's what they show to the people, right? It's like, hey, look, I have a Bentley or, a Rolls Royce or whatever. Look, I must be good. I'm powerful. But on the inside, they're scared. They're scared of hell. They're insecure. They're still, like I said, they're on drugs, whatever. What I do is create that inner strength on the inside so their success becomes a reflection of who they are, not a facade of who they are. So their success, they own their success. They see, and you can tell, I know you can tell, you've got that intuitive, say you see somebody really successful, and their confidence comes from a title, who they know, or how much money they make, right? But as a person, they're just empty inside, right? Their spouse knows that they're empty inside. Again, not a satisfactory life. And you can tell the difference between somebody that just kind of has success as a facade, and then those people that, they have their Rolls Royce and it's like, wow, they really look good in that Rolls Royce. They own it. Does that make sense to you? So that's the type of, say, understanding or wealth that I help people with. And then more importantly, I call it the new business paradigm, is that more and more companies are awakening to the fact that, we have to go beyond just the products. Because in today's society, manufacturing and so on, you can look at any like TV set or, mattress or whatever it is. It's really just a few companies. So what's going to differentiate you? What's going to differentiate your product or service then compared to any others? Right? And people will go, well, it's customer service. And that's why in today's world, you have over-the-top customer service, where they keep asking you, is like, did I answer your question right? Was this a satisfactory, customer service experience? It almost to the point that it gets stifling. It's like, yes, I just want this question answered, thank you. And, you want to hang up and move on. So, and that's what people think. It's just like, say, better customer service. But in the new business paradigm, and this is, again, why a lot of companies are coming to me, is that, the exchange of goods and services, it's not the exchange of the product or service. It's the exchange of the essence of that person coming through you. So what that means is that, say a company has a CEO that's ruthless. Their employees will have an essence of, say, ruthlessness or non-caring. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
The products and services have that essence of, say, non-caring. I just want the bottom line. Hence, that product or service will fail, no matter how good the product or service is. And I can give you tons of examples of products that were excellent, but they never made it, or services that great idea, but it never made it. That's the reason why. So now you change an individual, right? Say a CEO level, that he's more, I don't want to say benevolent, but more benevolent, right? More complete. This is where, you are interested in the bottom line, but your product or service will never, say, harm anybody, destroy the earth. It's a win-win situation for everyone. You have happy employees, satisfied employees, because that's the number one, say, expense is employee downtime in a company. Because, well, not a lot of people, about 80% here in the U.S., are dissatisfied with their jobs. They're just doing it to be, slaves, just to pay something so they can get away and enjoy their life. In turn, though, if you have a fantastic, say, CEO that knows who he is or she is at a much deeper level, he's solid on the inside. It's a reflection again of who he is, right? The higher essence of who we are. The employees become happier, more satisfied. They become more efficient. So it's cost saving at that level, but then also, the products and services that they're selling has that essence of, say, opulence or abundance in them, and people get attracted to it. Look at that iPhone. When Steve Jobs, it was literally his essence. People will go, well, it was his idea, or it was, he had great innovation and so on. But, in the history of Apple, when he left, it was still the same products, but why didn't that company thrive? It went into bankruptcy until he came back. It was his essence that people were buying. And that's that essence that I help in, say, high level.
To find out more about our latest projects, get a free coaching lesson, or download my book, go to www.bernardo-moya.com. And you've explained that beautifully from a great corporation like Apple, obviously, and that essence of obviously what Jobs represented. Obviously, being based here in the UK as I have, and running events and we even with the Best You Expo, how do you see that individuals, businesses in general, how are we evolving into being open to new learnings and to new teachings and to understanding that there's more than, I don't know, whatever we learn at school, which was basically the essence of everything till not long ago.
Exactly. So it's kind of a divide, really. So there's, a group of people that, let's just start let's step back a little bit. so there's a time frame. I call it a purity wave that's coming through, and it's a universal wave that's coming through, kind of washing off, say, the heaviness of this reality. So this is where, in this time frame, we're seeing a lot of, say, lies come through, right? Or openings, awarenesses come through, like the Harvey Weinstein, the R. Kelly, I don't know if you know R. Kelly.
Yes.
Those things are coming out, right? Saying, hey, this isn't right. You'll see a lot of, say, questioning about religion and so on. Because those, say, consciousness or paradigms of thought, say, isn't working the best for us. So as this purity wave washes through, we get to, say, discover who we truly are. And sometimes we discover the sad truth that, we're not as, say, grand or up to our, best possible self. So from that standpoint, and this is why that's happening, is that people are starting to awaken that, the concepts of, say, their parents or their lineage or their religion, their spiritual focus, their society, their culture. You know what? It's like, gosh, that's not working. It didn't work for my parents. It didn't work for my grandparents. Why is it going to work for me? Right? And you see a lot of bright kids, against the system. They're not bad kids or they're not bad people. It's just like, gosh, this didn't work for generations, for hundreds of years. I want to stop that. I'm looking for a better way. People are awakening to that fact. And that's why my business is growing exponentially. Actually, we grow, almost double every 6 to 8 months, which is really nice. Because people are awakening to the fact that, you can have complete abundance here in this reality. You don't have to suffer anymore to be a good person. All those realities or all those myths are starting to fall apart. So the control is coming back onto the individual, not from, say, a handful of individuals that control the world, but the control, and that's what I do, is bring back the control or your life destiny into your own hands. So imagine if we were complete, and imagine that, say, you had kids, you had a family. If you started becoming complete, right? You started becoming solid. You started to removing all the inconsistencies that aren't you. That resonates around you. You change your kids, you change your spouse, they change their loved ones, and so on and so on. And that's how we change the world. And that's what society is looking for. It's like they're looking for a solution that actually works. It's not based on faith. This is like real time-based events that you can check off. Right? This is where people start to heal themselves. They don't have to go to a doctor, keep going to a doctor. This is where their relationship starts getting better. Again, these are like tangible results that people get from what I do. And it's an awakening of their own power.
And within that, when you were saying that, for me, what I've kind of realized and the conclusion that I've come to, it is down to purpose, isn't it? I think that the challenges that so many people have with the difficulties that they're having in life, I've never seen a person with a purpose that's unhappy, angry, miserable, because they have a purpose, because they know what they're here for. Would you say that is in line with what you're saying? Is it purpose driven?
It is. But those people who are really, really happy, they have an inner purpose. They have that desire. So, for example, a lot of people say that, I'm going to be successful, I'm going to make a lot of money, and then I'll be happy. So their purpose would be making a lot of money, or their purpose would be saving the whales, or their purpose would be, creating some gadget, whatever it might be. And they create that gadget, and then they're not that happy, or they're not complete. So most of society, say, purpose is, say, off key. Right? It's like a means to an end. I'm going to be wealthy, or I'm going to be successful, or I'm going to marry somebody, and then that'll make me happy. So with that type of purpose, it's not a good purpose, because you're not finding yourself. Those people that you're talking about that have a purpose is like whatever that they're doing whether it's conscious or unconscious level, they're finding and understanding themselves. Does that make sense? So it's a nuance, but it's a nuance that we have to, to focus on, because it's not really what you're doing that's going to make you happy. It's that, say, internal essence that you're just naturally happy, and then whatever you do becomes a happy experience.
Makes
your purpose in life.
Sorry. Carry on. I was just going to say makes absolute sense to me.
Yeah. So, your only purpose in life, and again, people go, I want to save the whales. I want to save the earth. I want to save, I want to save my family, whatever. Your only purpose in life is to understand who you are at a complete level. Again, from the beginning of the interview where I said that your life here is only 1% of who you are. The other 99% is your timeless being. When those two merge together, and you act as one, so it's not you, it's not your higher self, it's just you are. That's your purpose. Once you merge together, your reality here dramatically changes. I mean, it's, for some people, it's like that. People literally start walking after, 10, 20 years of not being able to walk. Those kind of miracles, and I don't call it miracles, although people would, it's just basic physics. We can start to have a world where those type of miracles, say, are standard for us. And that's your purpose, finding who you truly are. The abundance that we're all looking for, that we all slave away and almost like prostitute ourselves to, right? Because that's what most people do, right? They prostitute themselves, make a meager income, right? So they can retire on a meager salary that they don't enjoy the rest of their life. That's really sad. But that, that's the old pattern. You can enjoy life right here where you are right now. If you awaken, all the abundance that you need literally starts flooding in for you. There's no possible way that it can't.
Well, Mas, thank you. I as I said, I'm delighted that you're coming to London. So it's the first time you're speaking at the Expo, and I'm going to share, before we finish, I'm going to share the screen so people can actually find out a little bit more. But what made you want to come along to the Bexio Expo and tell us what you're going to be sharing there, and why should people come along?
Yeah, so the reason why we wanted to get to the Best You, and again, we get invited all over the place. Actually, we turned a couple events down. I don't know, there's a good connection with you. When I heard about you, it felt good. You have that same desire or purpose as me, where you help instill people, to become that internal power, right? So, and that's what my purpose is as well. So I thought, with you and me coming together, we have, again, a general purpose of helping be the best possible self. So, and I gravitate to events and individuals that are like that. So, and that's my calling.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you. Well, for those of you that wanted to come along, Mas is going to be speaking at the Expo, and that's on the 15th and 16th of February. As I said, I'll share my screen, but I would highly recommend that if you're interested in finding out more about Mas, you obviously check him up on his webpage, which is mas-sajady.com. sajady.com. All the details will be on the page, or follow me in his podcast, obviously Exponential Intelligence. As I said, I'm going to share very quickly the screen. So you guys, if you wanted to come along, and this will be a recording at the Expo, and some of you might obviously hear this late, but the talks and what Mas will be sharing will be on future podcasts as well. But we have Mas speaking on the 15th, and he's going to be talking about fear of success, and on the 16th about the wealth intelligence. Can you give us a bit of insight on these two talks and what you'll be doing there, Mas, please?
Of course. Yes. So the fear of success, most individuals, they have, that fear of success where, they've run patterns of not being good enough, right? They've run patterns of not being good enough, not worthy. So getting rid of that and coming into your own state of being. And then from there, the wealth intelligence is about creating what I call that new business paradigm, that new wealth intelligence where I deem it as significant success. This is where your wealth is not a facade around you, and you still have those weaknesses or distortions. This is actually where I help you heal your internal self, and then from there, your wealth becomes a reflection on how, say, amazing you are on the inside, or the brilliance that you are on the inside. And it feels so much different than, say, your standard common everyday success. And by the way, they're not just talks. Within those talks, I guide you into a deep state of meditation, which I call meta healing. And some of you might actually be feeling different even on this talk. So if you're listening to this live or as a recording, you might actually start to feel different. Your headaches might go away, or whatever that you might be feeling. In the talks, about half the time, I'll be guiding you to a deeper state. So it's not just understanding or learning concepts. It's actually helping you instill from the inside out, so you can start to become fearless and then having that wealth intelligence.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing you, Mas. I know it's going to be a phenomenal success. Well, we've got a couple of, we have Mas speaking a couple of times, but we do have other opportunities, Mas, and we might have you. We're going to make sure you don't rest. So we're going to put you in different places as well. If you've got a little gap, we've got the yoga meditation room. We definitely want to put you in there and maybe help us and support us. And for those of you that are interested in getting involved, well, basically, thebestyouexpo.com, that will take you to the UK page. We've got a fantastic panel of speakers coming from all over the world, over 180 speakers. We've got some fantastic brands. We're doing an awards evening on the 15th, which is a great networking opportunity to meet a lot of the people that are speaking, exhibiting at the event. But we have fantastic people coming from all over the world, and it's our 4th year. We've gone from strength to strength, and it's people like Mas that make the event very, very special. So Mas, I want to thank you so much. I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much for today, and looking forward to seeing you.
Yes.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one. All the best. Thank you so much. Bye. And thank you everyone for watching here today. Thank you so much. Have a safe journey. Take care. Bye. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.